Here is a Sony CCD-V5000 camcorder from the early 90s. This is quite a noteworthy camcorder, quite a unique camcorder in many ways, and certainly a milestone in camcorders. I've noticed there is no real good detailed video about this CCD-V5000 here on YouTube, so I thought I should document this a little bit. Now, problem is these camcorders all suffer from bad surface mount electrolytic capacitors. So we can't turn this thing on and we can't see any test footage from this because it is pretty much dead. All I can do is take you around this camcorder and point out some of the noteworthy features that this has. Let's start on this, the admittedly not so exciting side of the camcorder. On here we can clearly read Video High 8 Pro. Now this not only indicates that this is a prosumer model, it also indicates there are certain modifications to the High 8 video standard that don't make the cassettes recorded on this camcorder incompatible with other High 8 equipment, but they do add certain features and functions. We can already see one of them as we zoom in on the cassette compartment. There you can read digital stereo. And this is not just a marketing thing. This camcorder has the ability to record digital PCM audio in stereo along with the analog video. Now it also says digital picture, however that doesn't really mean anything, that is marketing. It kind of makes sense as we look over here. As you can see, this does have a digital noise reduction and a time-based corrector. Now as we look up here you can see there is the stereo directional microphone. Of course, the foam windscreen has deteriorated. And right there is a selector to turn on a wind filter. And note, this is not buried somewhere in a menu, it's right there on the camcorder. Now next to that we have the viewfinder jack, where the viewfinder plugs in. As far as I know, there is nothing else that you could plug into there. There weren't any upgraded viewfinders or anything like that. And then up there around the corner is the LANC remote control connector. Now as we come down here, there is the first noteworthy feature. This does not only have your standard 3.5mm stereo microphone jack that you get nowadays on prosumer grade camcorders. No, this actually has two separate 1/4-inch jacks for some proper microphones. Now it does not have XLR audio. That feature was reserved for the real professional High 8 line of video equipment designed for the educational and industrial market. And then as we look around here we have a record button obviously and a standby lock thing that you can pull down. Up there is a rocker zoom control which will actually do two speeds. There is a low speed and a high speed, but there is no proper variable speed that you'd get nowadays. And now comes the exciting side. As you can probably already tell, there is a whole lot going on around here. So let's take a closer look. Now up on front we have the lens. This is a proper manual lens. So up front you have a focus ring, and then behind you have a little lever to operate the manual zoom. There is also a green button to access the macro mode, because this is one of the old style lenses that doesn't have autofocus for macro. There is 8x optical zoom, and then down there, before I forget about that, there is a volume control for both the built-in speaker, which we'll see, and some headphones that you hook up to this. Now around here, right there, is a little liquid crystal display. This is a status indicator for all kinds of different functions. This will show date and time as well as the counter, as indicated by the buttons below, but it will also show various other items. Below that we have our first selection of manual controls. We have an auto lock to go all automatic. We have the focus selector switch for automatic or manual. In that mode, the push auto button next to that becomes active. And then we have something that on more professional camcorders would be called gain. On here it's called sensitivity. There is the standard setting marked green, which presumably would translate to 0 decibels. This camcorder has a 1/2 inch CCD, so I would assume this is very good in low light. There is then a position for high sensitivity and super high sensitivity. Down here we have the iris control, which really doesn't say what it's all about. We have an auto position and then you can close it or open it. No proper values indicated. This is operated with a little thumb wheel around the side. And then next to that we have two noteworthy features. No stupid menu, no stupid push buttons, no. Proper rotary selector switches for white balance and shutter speed. I don't think I've seen that on any other camcorder. For the white balance we have automatic, manual with the set button, and a fixed position for outdoor and indoor. The shutter speed doesn't let you decrease the shutter speed for better low light performance, but it does let you increase the shutter speed to capture fast motion. Moving on to up here, this is the audio section, and you can see two wonderful analog VU meters. That's quite a noteworthy feature. It's not unique though. In between the two meters we have two indicator lights. Hi-Fi means you're recording in the standard AFM analog audio mode. PCM means you are recording stereo digital audio. Down below, once again, I'd love to see that on more modern camcorders. No stupid menu, no messing about with plus and minus buttons. You have a rotary knob for the record level and a balance control. I don't think I've seen that on any other camcorder. And then to access those two controls, there is the auto or manual microphone level selector switch. And then down below is the narration microphone. Now keep in mind this camcorder is equipped with a directional stereo microphone aimed to the front. So if you, the cameraman, say something, it won't come out very clear on that microphone. So you push on this narration microphone and it pops out and is then activated, and the audio coming from this narration microphone is mixed together with the stereo audio coming from the front microphone, so you, the cameraman, can be understood on the audio recording. Next to that, of course, being from the early 90s, it has to have them digital effects. And here they are. Strobe, solarization, and, well, the only one that really makes sense, noise reduction. And another rotary control to select the effect level. Now this right here is a shoulder rest, and since different people have different shoulders, there is a button. You can release the shoulder pad and slide it to the back to make this camcorder fit your shoulder. Up here is the built-in speaker, so you can monitor the audio as it's being recorded. And then right here is a little door, and this is what hides behind that door. Even more digital effects. We have stop motion, flash motion, and multi. And for when you're finally sick and tired of all those, a clear button. The next function, I don't actually know what it does. Int rec probably stands for internal recording. Down below, record mode, then high 8 automatic, records in high 8 when there is a high 8 tape in the machine, or off, in which case it will record in standard video 8 no matter what tape you insert. We have the edit position, which slightly enhances the picture to make up for the generation loss that occurs when copying analog video. We have for the internal speaker, in case that annoys you, you can turn it off. And then for the slow motion mode, slow motion playback mode, there is a slow adjust, which probably works a bit like a tracking control. Here is the front of the camcorder, kind of difficult to see against a white background. Up here is the viewfinder, which does have a little red telly light right there. You can see by the sticker residue somebody once taped over that, which was unnecessary because on the bottom of this viewfinder assembly is a switch to turn off the telly light. Right there is the remote control sensor. There is the lens. There is a secondary record button. There is a jack for an external narration microphone and a headphone jack. The audio connectivity of this camcorder is just absolutely fantastic. And then around there is a button that records an index mark onto the tape. Looking down onto the top of the camcorder, we get even more digital effects. There is a digital zoom, which is a 2x digital zoom. It's not variable, so you can turn it on or you can turn it off. You get a picture in still, and then as I fold this viewfinder around, you can see the fader and overlap button. There is a 2-speed edit search to look back at what you've just recorded, and then here is the superimpose function, which is like a very simple title generator. You basically take a still of a card with a title on it or any other high contrast content, and you can then superimpose that onto the video signal. There are two memory positions, title 1 and title 2. There is the memory button and then a color selector and mode selector. Moving on, we have the VCR controls, which are quite standard, except for a frame mode that skips a single frame and a slow frame-by-frame playback mode. Right there is the power button, which is combined with the camera and VCR selector switch. And this is surrounded by another door. Open that up to reveal the audio dub function. Data screen means you're putting the data shown on the viewfinder on an external screen that you have connected to the camcorder. I don't know what this camera plus VTR button does. And then up there are the controls for the index feature, so you can search for all those index marks that you have recorded using the button on the front. Here is the back of the camcorder. Again, difficult to see because of the white background. This is where the battery would go, and it's where all the audio and video inputs and outputs are. So, if you don't use a battery, you gain access to the DC input jack. Here is all the outputs: super video, composite video, mono audio, and in the center is a little power output. These three jacks combined will supply an external RF modulator with signal and power. Down here is a selector switch, Hi-Fi or PCM, and there is a mix position, so apparently the camcorder will record both at the same time, Hi-Fi and PCM. So I was wrong there. I thought the PCM would replace the Hi-Fi audio. There is the stereo audio outputs. Down here are the inputs, super video, composite video, and stereo audio. And down here in the shoulder rest is this rather strange little compartment. I have no idea what that is good for. It's very small. So there you have it, the Sony CCD-V5000 prosumer camcorder. An awesome piece of video equipment. But again, unfortunately, due to bad SMD capacitors, this is dead. So this is where the video ends. I can't turn it on and I can't record any test footage, unfortunately. So, thank you for watching.